Hello, welcome to the Season 2 finale of the Leukopak Lady. Today I'm talking about my outlook and perspective on cellular starting materials in 2026. So here's my headline. Program growth won't be limited by manufacturing capacity. In 2026, it will be limited by donor biology. So the Leukopak collection industry was expected to contract significantly in 2025. In fact, 2024 and early 25 did see some contraction as cell therapy programs at multiple large pharma companies either shrank or ended. Despite this, the allogeneic cell therapy market expanded in 2025. Many development programs grew and therapies progressed well through clinical trials. This ended up growing the need for healthy donor-derived CSM, and some centers saw an increase in collections as a result. So now, as 2025 turns into 26, developers are increasing their demand, not for random donor material, but for high-quality donor cells. They're asking for better donor networks, increased donor testing, and more standardized collections and services. This growth in 2026 will be more selective, strategic, and structured. The market is shifting away from more donors to better donors and better control over those donors. And this is needed to reduce variability in manufacturing and clinical outcomes. And that increases the likelihood of allogeneic therapy approval in the near future. So CSM is a strategic asset, not a commodity, and this shift in thinking is essential to fueling the growth of this industry. And from my seat in the CSM world, I see this shift already happening. So in 2026 and beyond, some of the things I expect to see movement towards. First, more defined specifications on starting materials, cell counts, concentration, volume, maximum acceptable contaminants for both fresh and cryopreserved products. And those centers that don't currently use tools to help control for donor-to-donor variability in cell counts or don't collect to target cell numbers will get left behind as the rest of the field moves towards more standardization. And that's just the beginning. I expect to see reduced reliance on random donors and uncharacterized products. So if you are a collection center that doesn't think donor qualification and product testing matter, or you think it's too expensive to invest in, I don't expect you to grow your collections in 2026. The industry will witness the establishment of specialized donor pools just for Leukopak collections, master donor banks, designed for specific modalities and specific developers. For example, donors with high NK cells will be collected for NK cell-based therapies, and donors with ideal T-cell ratios will be collected for T-cell based therapies. And along with that, we'll see longitudinal donor characterization. Some collection centers or independent organizations will invest in the strategies, equipment, talent, and partnerships needed to determine what makes a super donor, meaning donors whose cells are ideally suited for cell therapy manufacturing. And as a consequence of this, we'll see a reduction in the number of individual donors collected as the industry shifts to more reliance on well-characterized repeat donors. These select super donors will become long-term partners in the success of the therapies they donate for. They'll be acutely aware of their role in patient treatment, which will help them commit to maintaining the types of lifestyles needed to stay qualified long-term as super donors. Cell isolation and cryopreservation hubs will grow to consolidate equipment, talent, resources, and protocols, and networks of centers will emerge, either strong partnerships between independent centers or growth of one center into many locations. On the regulatory side, 2026 should begin to bring better clarity and distinction between healthy donor material for allogeneic therapy manufacturing and patient-derived material that's used for autologous treatment only, and a movement towards a more standardized definition of GMP-compliant starting materials listed in each allogeneic therapy IND, rather than slightly different specifications from developer to developer, which we see now. This will help collection centers in their efforts to standardize collected products and services, but this will also require data on what makes an ideal donor an ideal product so regulatory bodies can adopt requirements and minimum specifications. Off-the-shelf therapies have amazing potential, but will only thrive if the shelf is built with the right donors and the right material. CSM is foundational, and you can't engineer your way out of bad starting material. Donor biology stands to be the biggest obstacle in securing the best CSM for allogeneic cell therapies. So you'll find it no surprise that I predict the winners of 2026 to be the collection centers that are proactive in finding, qualifying, and maintaining the best donors, and the developers that use these master donor banks as strategic assets to engineer superior therapies. So join me in February of 2026 for the start of Season 3 of the Leukopak Lady. Until then.